Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, I have a couple of topics I want to talk about today. The Odyssey of Sulaiman and the timeline. But all this refers back to the Holocaust. We're living in the shadow or the consequence of the Holocaust. That's where we're living. That's where we're living in the time of the consequence or the shadow of the Holocaust. That's what we're living in, brothers and sisters. You'll understand in a few more days. Every action has an opposite but reaction. Opposite but equal reaction. That's the proper way of saying it. You can't say opposite reaction because you can't say every action has a reaction because that's not half of the problem. You gotta say every action has opposite but equal reaction. Opposite. Because you don't say opposite, they could be come at an angle. That wouldn't be the right thing. You have to quote these things properly, brothers and sisters. We're talking about mathematics. You have to say things correctly and precisely. Every action has an opposite but equal reaction. And right now, we're living in a consequence of 500 years of action. But some people have the idea that the consequence was delayed and then something happened, like, you dam up something. No. Consequence is always immediate. So I need to explain that. Jesus talks about in the scripture, what they quoted saying Jesus said it. No. When you see it, okay, put it this way. You start going out and you start stealing people. So now, couple of things happen, right? So you say you break somebody's house, right? You steal something, you run out of the house, and you fall down and you break your leg. So you stole $100, $500 worth of stuff out of the house. As you run out of the house, you step, broke your leg, $500 bill to get your leg fixed. Instant consequence, right? Or you broke somebody's house, nothing happened. Broke somebody's house, nothing happened. Broke somebody's house, nothing happened. So you done this for a couple of years. Then suddenly, you got this big tumor. You said, where is this coming from? Right? Well, it was growing because every time you broke somebody's house, you start cultivating that tumor. When you saw it, you saw the result of all of that. See, it accumulated. You just didn't see it. So what you're seeing right now is result because while they was abusing us, raping our women, and using our children as bait, remember, they was affecting their seed. They're affecting their environment. They're affecting their thoughts, their structures. So now they're seeing the result. Now they're seeing the result of it, the Holocaust. All of it, 500 years in one little year. Because they built this, so now they got weaker seed. Our seed got stronger, theirs got weaker. So it's the consequence is immediate. Consequence is always immediate. It's just when you see it, you see the accumulation. So now what you see is accumulation of all of what they've been doing. That's what you see. Because now it's visible, it's coming visible. See, it wasn't invisible, it's hidden. And that when it's hidden like that, that could be a mercy. And it could also be a curse. Because like the first guy, he broke his leg. He said, oh man, then he realized that he stopped doing that. He saw the connection, right? So that was a mercy in a way because it let him know what he was doing was wrong. But then it wasn't a mercy in a way because, like, because he had time to repent. The other guy, he had time to repent because he'd been robbing for 2 years. And they said, I'm going to stop doing it, start helping people doing good things. So he started reversing. He never knew he had the tumor. So that was a mercy. But he didn't never have knowledge of what was going on. See, that's where the curse comes in because he don't correct his actions, self-correct his actions, right? Then when he sees it, it's too late. Now it's inoperable. And right now, it's inoperable. When the United States, Farrakhan can't say, they had a chance. I told them a month ago, immediately, you got to do this right now because it's your last chance. They have no, it's over. They let us go, like I told them immediately, they would have bought themselves some time. But it's too late now. So I hope you understand that concept. This accumulation of what they did, now you see it, and now it's terminal. It's terminal. See, they didn't see it before. So now they see it all at once. Disaster, hunger, the whole system's crashing and everything else. Because they did it to themselves, like termites. You got this old big old nice house, termites just eat it away. And when you find out, the whole house collapsed. Because you didn't see it. You didn't see the termites. You know it was there. You thought everything was cool. They were behind the scenes. Hope you understand that concept, brothers and sisters. See? So that's one of the reasons what happened in 1 year, because all of it come right. Because, okay, when you get terminal cancer, a guy might say, well, yeah, you've been doing it for 10, 20 years, but now you only got 3 months to live or a week to live. So, but damn, I mean, 6 years, see, yeah. Well, now you're going to suffer. Now the pain is in everything, and for the next week, you're going to suffer all that you've been doing. See, because you was building that up. You was building the suffering up, and now it's hit you. Hope you understand that, brother and sister. Maybe I'll elaborate that another time. But consequence, no. Mathematics is not delayed. Consequence not delayed. See? As they was, and for us too, because they was producing a better seed, a stronger seed. Now we have the strongest seed on the planet. We're the strongest seed on the planet. Okay? But now, and what? You're gonna see that all of a sudden. So that you're gonna see, you see, right? It says, how it says it? It's what nations be born in a day. Babylon's structure come in a day. See the two things together? Do you connect these things, brothers and sisters? Nature born in a day. So our consequence, our positive consequence, coming in 1 day. Then in 1 year, all of it. In 1 day, right? All their hell is coming in focus. The consequence of it is be manifest in 1 day, in 1 year. Our resurrection manifests in 1 year. Same way, same time. Same time. And our will be just as glorious as theirs is horrific. Our resurrection is be as glorious as theirs is horrific. All of a sudden, a twinkle of an eye, all that joy and everything will come rushing on us. Like tsunami, what do you call it? Well, you know. All that joy and resurrection come on us 1 year. And we're rising and just get better and better after that. But all that hell's coming on in 1 year. See? Because we didn't see it. It was happening in the background. And suddenly you see it. All of a sudden, look. They rose up out of nowhere. Suddenly. Powerful nation with nation born in a day. Who ever heard such a thing? Babylon destroyed in such a day? Who ever heard such a thing? 1 day. Total destruction. Unprecedented. Remember, if they said a nation be born in a day, we were hurt. That means our rise is unprecedented also. Their hell is unprecedented and our rise unprecedented. Hope you understand, brothers. I'm trying to connect the dots for you. So we're going to talk about the Odyssey of Suleiman, son of man, and we're going to also talk about the timeline. So I'm going to see how this works out, right? But I'm going to talk about a couple of things leading up to that. See, I think I got my sound effects better. I think I got my system going. That just means, right? Like, you stick your head up, now lion can get it, right? That's all it means. When I get it together, then they got no target. So what I'm gonna do, brothers and sisters? So I have to keep on struggling. See, I'm getting this message out one way or the other, so I don't care what they do. But I talked about psychological warfare. And that's part of my job. I'm going to talk about this Odyssey, is prepare you for warfare. We got different types of warfare. Right now, we're doing a mental warfare. Right now, it's mental warfare. Atomic. I need to say it a different way because we don't want to mix up with atomic. So, but I want to keep using the double T. Atomic. Maybe I don't know how I can say it a way where it can really emphasize and not talk about the other one. Atatomic. Okay, let's say atatomic. Atatomic warfare. That's what Suleiman's waging right now. That's what's got the world all in a flurry, confused, derision. But at some point, it's going to turn physical. It says Joshua led you through war. He's a war leader, not a prophet. I mean, you call him a prophet because he prophesizes, probably better than any prophet ever. Because no one ever had the angel before. And precise. And the prophecies prophesies about is during his time. See, Prophet Muhammad talked about prophecies that was happening after he's gone. So did Moses, so did all of them. Most of their prophecies was about they were long after they were gone, long after they was gone. But Suleiman's prophecy would be in his time. And he will fulfill every one of them. Because the Injil is a book. The Quran was a book for its time, but not exclusively for its time. Because it covered, range even covers some of the things now. But Injil covered exclusively, and Daniel exclusively for this time. I mean, it's totally focused for this time. And no other book is like that. So they can talk about Message of Black Man and Fall of America and Quran and all this stuff. Well, see, I don't worry about that, brother, because that just means they're not escaping the gravitational vortex. That means they're one of those sperms that's not gonna find an egg. So what you gonna worry about them for? They're not going to the next creation. They're stuck in this one. They can't get to the second floor. So we don't worry about them. So we're not gonna try to pull them up and then drag ourselves down in the process. But psychological warfare. See, I have to pay you in every kind of respect, brothers. I have to teach you about how to protect yourself. Like Muhammad said, Master Muhammad taught him how to protect yourself from flying objects. But he never told everyone how to do it. But he said, Master Muhammad taught him. Well, that's 5 fundamental principles of Islam. See? Because now you can apply. Well, I guess, it wasn't any point really telling us, and maybe even the Levites, because you have to have enough energy, right? It's like telling a 5-year-old about calculus. I mean, what's the point? You don't have the brain power to understand it at the time. So we didn't have the power to implement the 5. During our energy deprivation, we didn't have the energy to implement the 5 fundamental principles of Islam. Now we do. So it would have been our time to teach you, because you've just been frustrated because you've been doing it and you still be getting hit. People still be getting hit. You say, well, I'm doing this and it's still, so then you turn against it because you say, hell, it's not working. Well, it's not working. It's not that it doesn't work. It's just that the timing is wrong. So now it's our time. And now it's things will work for us, especially for you. But if you read elevated places in this Quran, The more elevated you are, the harder it's going to be for you because you get yours last because you still remember who suffers energy deprivation the most? The most elevated. That means you as a nation experience it better than all the other nations, but then the most elevated amongst you was suffering. That say Suleiman or Suleiman was suffering more than anybody because he was elevated more than anybody. And I would say he suffered the whole sins of the world and everything. He suffered more than anybody because he went through energy deprivation worse than anybody, just like you went through it very worse than all the nations. You understand these things, right? But now we're coming out of it. And the more elevated you are, the longer it's going to take to come out of it. Just like it says, read the elevated places. See? The elevated ones, they said, they refer to themselves as we. We start getting more, but you got more than we do because you have more energy, because you require less. You have more disposable energy. I should be very precise about that. It's not that you have more energy, you have more disposable energy. Like we get the same income, but I have a little more disposable income than you if I have less expenses. But we have the same amount of paycheck. Understand that. So we have to be very precise in our language. And maybe I'm somewhat guilty because I've been just, talking in the graveyard, so, for 30 some years, and there's no excuse, right? So understand that, brother and sister. So I'm taking note of that to make sure I'm extra precise. I've been precise, right? But I could be more. So you have Elijah Muhammad said, like Master Muhammad told us a lot of things he'd tell you, right? And also about, like I said, the flying objects and all that stuff. That's fundamental principle of Islam. Right? He said they would not teach. He said the devils would not teach you science of war. Well, of course they wouldn't, because they know you're a separate nation. They know it's people like me in there, some too afraid to stand up, that don't want any parts of this BS. No parts of this shitstorm here. They don't want no parts of it. Some reason they think we want to be here, we want to be around them, we want to be with their democracy and their capitalism. And so the capitalism would have destroyed us. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. It's a slavery system, by definition. But somebody think we want to be part of that. And the demons keep telling, yeah, man, hang in there. Farrakhan, yeah, we hang in there. We don't want any part of this, none of it. We haven't put up the surrender sign. You declare war against us. We're still at war. So some of you capitulated, turned and ran, or just allowed yourself to be butt broken and you happy with it, because you got a lot of butt broken Negro butts out there. I mean, how in the hell can they stand up and say that they even a man when they walk around with master's name on? That's a sign in this society, right? In this society, I'm not going to the culture, all stuff when we get home, because we'll know that when we get there, because we'll return to our nature, but we ain't there yet. But the whole idea of a man, a woman takes a man's last name when they marry, means she's subjected to him. Now, I'm not sure that policy holds throughout the Islamic world. I don't think it does, but that's what it is. So, but at one point, it's valid because the man has a seed, and so to make guarantee that his seed, right, carries, because it really is his seed. Right? But it also carries the connotation of domination. Because now you belong to me. You take my name because you belong to me. That's not the connotation we want. That's not how we want. And I'm not going to allow it to happen as long as I can breathe and see and talk, ambulate. See? But that's the connotation. And that same connotation they put on the slave. That's the reason. You understand the connotation of it. The implication was The reason why they give you that name, because you belong to them. They didn't say, okay, your name is Toby, we'll call you Toby Matchstick, because we like that name. No. My name, right, is Master Matchstick, so your name is Toby Matchstick because I own you. You have that last name because I own you. And now, you are free, and you still carry that name. So it means he still owns you. If you carry that name, he still owns you. Period. I don't give a damn what the hell you think about it. You can go to hell with all your bullshit, because if you still carry that name, he still owns you. Bottom line. You go, oh, I'm a man who I know. You don't know a damn thing. You don't know shit. You don't know a damn thing. He owns you. You're still his slave. You're still here in America, ain't you? Still speaking his language, ain't you? I am too. But I do know who I am, and I'm fighting to get out of here. Not like you fighting to get in. Well, I know the demons, they fighting to get deeper. Integration. But if you still carrying that name and some of you proud of it, oh, my name is Jason Nickelbackham. Nickelbackham? Where did that come from? Because he still owns you. And if you trace it back, that's the name he gave you. And he said, I'm so proud. Oh, yeah, my name is James Jackson. Michael Jack. Right now, you know two things. You know he's a demon or he's butt broken. If you're just butt broken, we're going to solve that problem. For most of them, someone just blood. See, being butt broken have two connotations to it. If you like it or you want to get unbroken, well, we're going to take care of the ones that get unbroken. Those you like it, we stay here with it. You get all you want. See? Because they broke out people. That's a sad thing to say, but that's what they did to us. That's how evil they are. That's not a reflection on us, because we still to submit. Submit to this horrible beast. And all the horrors that go with it. And we was told what it would be like, and man, ooh. So we just held our breath, closed our eyes, right? Took a deep dive, held our breath as long as we could, because we know we come up. We're going to come with something else, a new creation. We just hold our breath, close your eyes, and take it. See? So it's on them, what they did. See? It's on them. Because that shows how sick they are. Because they did everything imaginable. There's no point trying to deny it, brothers and sisters. I know we don't want to talk about it. It's shameful and everything else. It's not shame on us. It's not a shame on our sisters that was raping everything. It's not a shame. It's shame on the people that was doing it. You're not going to be judged for that. I'm not going to do it. I'm the one that's going to judge. I'm not going to judge you for that, what happened to you in the Holocaust, because I'm going to judge the people that did it. It says, I'm going to judge that nation that did it to you, not you for having it done, because you submitted. And we know, submit to a horrible beast, you're going to get mauled and torn apart and shit on and everything else. For shitting out mouths, they tell us, man, you got a nasty mouth. Well, hell yeah, I got a nasty mouth. You've been filling it with shit for 40 years. What the hell you think it's going to be? Literally, I ain't talking about just figuratively. They literally forced shit down our throats for 40 years. Still doing it now. Psychological and physical shit. This false Christianity and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm a Christian. That's what enslaved you, fool. I ain't knocking Lazarus now. I'm telling you, I'm telling hard language. Because part of this is what you need to wake up. Part is what you need to wake up. You need to see the reality situation. You need to know you're in a shitstorm, not a manure storm. You're not in a manure storm, bro. So you're in a shitstorm. And all you know is shit is, some of you don't know what manure is, but you all know shit, you're in a shitstorm. You're not in a manure storm. There's a difference. Oh, it's different the way it's spelled. Yeah, it's different in texture too. So you understand, brothers and sisters, that's why my job to prepare you. Because right now, it's mental war. It's always going to be mental war. But it's going to turn physical at some point. And you got Farrakhan, the demon, he's going full out. I mean, I could spend hours talking about the stuff that fool is doing. And he's not, remember, he's not in control of the situation. He's being controlled. He's been handled by someone else. They tell you in Daniel that he's the mouthpiece for Obama. They tell you in the Seal Bible, right, that he's after the works of Satan. Satan's got hold to him. We know the jinn got him with money, right? We know the government got him, but he's driving his website. So he's under control. He's not doing this on his own. He's a demon, but but they got him. And just listen to everything he does, like the Democratic Party. Every policy they got is against black people, right? But everything that he's doing is against everything like Muhammad says, everything. We ain't going nowhere. He trained these sisters for battle. Battle for what? I said I'm going to talk about that a little more in detail. See, because I'm really talking about that a lot in detail, but that's really relevant for now. Because you understand, when they said they need to do freely with us. And they said they had a dilemma. See? We say throw them in the river. The males, we're talking about males, they're talking about gender at that point. I think I mentioned that a while back. They're talking about the nation of Islam and the Christian blacks, the demons. Let them live with us because they was going to get rid of both of us. But the nation of Islam, it's the males. They wanted to get them to go to war. And Farrakhan already said that. If America's attacked, you got to defend America. America belongs to us. So he's already setting up them fools over there, calling up FY and everything. And now he got MGT. They're all ready for war. Ready going to fight. Who the MGT going to fight? They got some weapons. You don't see what's going on there? They prepare. Oh, see, he's already preparing for war. So they throw them in the river. Because the thing is, they know they're going to war. And I try to come to different angles because they got different plans. Say, if plan B don't work, plan C. And plan C, plan D. And so it's hard for me to I tell you sometimes about how plan B works. And then you think I'm talking about plan C. Because plan B is just get rid of us. Plan A, the plan is get rid of us, period. That's A. Right? But then they got a war come and say, well, this dilemma. So, okay, how do we get rid of them? So then you're going to plan B, plan C. One said abortion. No said, well, that failed. We're going to, throw them in the river. And let the females live, but that means just not throw them in the river, but still to wipe them out here. It's just how they plan on doing it. Because they feel like the NOI is the most radical, the one they got to worry about the most. If they can get them to fight, help them win their war, and just be destroyed in the process. In other words, if you're going to kill them, why not kill them in a useful way? Right? Send them into combat where they know they ain't coming back, but still they still kill a bunch of your enemy. So it's hard to try to wrap all this up, but it's so much. So I'm just going to try to, you have to start thinking these things through. That's what I say, add it up. So there's all kinds of ways they can think about getting rid of us. That's just one of them. If that fails, just take us right out. Because he militarized the so-called NOI. Men said we wasn't going, messing with the prison. Because they said we ain't going to war with these people. Now Farrakhan said we're going to do that. They preparing them. They ain't got the sisters going, so they can go to get rid of them too. See? They walk around, up two. For what? What's all that about? That when the crap been going on with the messages around, it's all about. Then you can also get thrown in jail if they don't want to go, right? Because they say, well, they're a military organization. They're militaristic over there. You know, I'm gonna leave that alone, bro, sis, because like I said, to really talk about this subject, I gotta sit down and map it out and say, if plan A don't work, then plan B. I talked about that. I gave idea about that, and read the book about read about Adam and Eve. They had a plan. That was one plan they had, right? And matter of fact, had another plan. And I showed you about another plan they had. I talked about the story about Belshazzar, how they had one plan and went this way, or the story about Jonah went this way or that way. You got to follow these things through. And I really can't go down and break these things down to that extent and keep relevant. Because I mean, when you start talking about, well, they got plan A, but the one you got to worry about is the one that actually happens. Because I can sit all day and say, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this happened? What if that happened? And that's what they think. They got all these different plans of these contingencies, they call it. If this happened, we do this. If this happened, we do this. This happened, we do this. So we're going to sit and try to follow that? No, I'm just telling you what's happening and how it's going to turn out. Because they got their plan. And if I go down that rat hole, right, we'll be all day long. So I'm just cutting to the chase, and this is what's going to happen. But so let me put it another way. When I'm talking in that sense, I'm just trying to tell you, they're maze, they're thinking maze. This way, that way, the labyrinth, right? This way, that way. No. Don't get it twisted, bro, sisters. I'm not talking about that from the angel. I'm in their mind saying, trying to tell you what they think about you and how they plan to come after you. And if they can't get this going, if they can't get Farrakhan to convince you, if they're not convinced that you're going to go to war and fight for them, because that's how one of the ways to get rid of you, then they'll just take you out. But they can say, hey, these dummies will fight for us, then why kill you? Let the enemy do it. And you kill some enemy in the process. You understand, bro? Something there. I think I went a little too far into that. I mean to. But anyway, you got to understand the situation, bro, sisters. See, I'm not here to complicate them, trying to make things simpler. I think I kind of went off a little bit there. But that's their way of thinking. If A don't work, B, and I've been telling you, I say, well, look, A, and I try to stay away from that. So I'm going to stay away from it, right? So I touched on it today. But these are all their different contingencies. But the bottom line is, that's what I'm going to talk the timeline, because I'm telling you, hell with their contingencies, I'm telling you what's actually going to happen. Because they still trying to think, well, what if China, see right now, like for instance, I say I'm not going to let it go, but I want to clear this up. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Right now, you got three major hotspots in the world: China, Russia, Middle East, and Iran. Now, they look at all three of these. They know they're going to war, but they don't know what's going to blow up first. So they say, well, if Iran blows up first, we'll do this. If China blows up first, we'll do this. If Russia blows up first, this. What if Russia and China blow up at the same time? See, that's where they're going. Now we cut to the bullshit out and say, no, we know Iran's going first. You understand what I'm saying? So I hope I got you straight. So I shouldn't have went down that path to begin with. Because I'm trying to say, well, they're going to do A if B don't work, and B, and if Russia goes first, they're going to do this. No, that ain't going to happen the other way. So because that's where Farrakhan's going. That's where fools going and say, well, what we do if this happens? What if this? See, we don't have to do that. That's why we got the AL-INJIL. That's why you study it. Because you cut to the chase and no. Because that's confusion. So they still see, and that's the version, that part of the division, because they got all these, they said, all the contingency plans. So that means they didn't have focus, because they're waiting to find out what to focus on. You understand? We already focused because we know it's going to happen this way. So they're saying, well, what if this happens? And then if this happens, right, what if Russia goes first? Okay, Russia. So war starts out in Russia first. Well, what if Russia go nuclear? What if Russia, at least didn't see that the path? And what if this? You go insane, right? Whatever. And we cut to the chase. We said, no, this is going to happen like this. Okay, leave it there, brothers and sisters. Anyway, psychological warfare. And that's something I could really talk about a lot, but I'm not, because we don't have time for it. And if you don't grasp the basic idea, the fundamental idea is that you have to look at your enemy. First of all, you have to know who your enemy is. Farrakhan you don't know they don't know the enemy is over there. Devils ain't enemies anymore. They ain't no such thing as devils. And such demons. Farrakhan to cover his ass that he's a demon said, oh, it don't matter who your father is, because this invisible God that's supposed to be matched by Muhammad, because he's supposed to be the God, right? It's in the womb making you, so your mother father had nothing to do with it. See what I'm saying? You understand why he's saying this stuff? He's being told to say these things to cover his ass. Because that don't make no sense, whatever. It's make no biological sense, no scientific sense whatsoever. That bullshit he's saying, there's some mystery. You know, didn't you hear the microscope? That mystery. Because that's how you get around the fact. People say, hey man, your father's the devil? Oh, no, I don't mean nothing. I don't mean nothing. See, because God made me in the womb. It don't matter who my father or mother was. See, that's total bullshit. But you understand, when you see, I know how to read between the lines. I know how to read psychology. I know how to read, what do you call it, body language. They're just telling me that he's on attack. He got to come up with some bullshit excuses, get away from these things that people have. That's why they have problems over there. He's got to have an answer. Because if he tells me he's a demon, his father's the devil, I mean, it's hard to get around that one. But he just dismissed that. Oh, man, are you crazy? I mean, man, wait, you don't believe in the law? You don't believe in God? God made you, man. Had my father and mother. See? That's the only way you can get around. That's me. He's on attack. See? When they talk, every time they open their mouth, they tell me everything I need to know about them. Because by they saying that kind of crap, right, they tell me he's on attack. Because people question these facts as demon. Your father's the devil. People say, everybody ain't stupid. Because if they were, he wouldn't have to say stuff like that. Why do they keep pushing it every week? Why do they push it every week that it doesn't matter who your mother or father had nothing to do with it? Because he's trying to cover the facts as demon, because he's under fire, because he's a demon, because father's the devil. That's why he's doing it. And you, brother and sister, your mind's going to get sharper and sharper and sharper. You're going to be able to see as clear as I see. That's why he's doing it. See? Devils ain't no devils anymore. See? Because they want you to fight for the devils. Because if they devils, you ain't going to go out and fight this war for America. You ain't going nowhere. That means if you ain't going nowhere, you got to fight. You don't want the Chinese come and take over the country, take over you. That means you're going to fight for it. And now you're going to have the sisters fighting too. Because they look at that MGT, 2, 3, 4. You see what's going on in the background? Learn to read, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to teach you, bring up the speed here. Let's move. I'm cracking up. Because I'm way in the future looking back at the past, brothers and sisters. I already see all this stuff unwinding. Yes, I already know. I see fire kind of flames. Right? See? They'll make dog shit out of him. See? I see all this, and I'm looking back at this stuff. My mind's in the future. I'm already in the hereafter. Right? I'm looking back. I'm trying to get you minds up so you can start looking back. Because most of our people can't see what's going on right now. They're in the past. I got that shit black man. I got the Christ still in the past. They can't see the present. And I'm off in the future. I'm telling you about things that you had no idea about. Even from the Bible, from Christians and everybody else. About the future war, the war of the last days. You didn't know anything about any of that stuff. I'm way in the future process. I'm trying to get you there too. Put your mind there, because once your mind there, your body's gonna catch up. See, once your mind's there, I'm saying, and the hereafter there, sure, once your mind there, you know it's just a matter of time, your body will catch up. Because you already see your body moving along in that direction, you know it's not gonna happen to it. Because your mind's already there, the body's just pulling around, right? Catch up pretty soon. I'm trying to get your mind out there, brothers, sisters, out there in the future, past this. Because if your mind's in the past, that means you probably don't have a future. Think about that. Think about that really deep. If your mind's still in the past, that probably means you don't have a future. Think about that one. See? Sit back and think about that for a few minutes. If your mind's still in the past, you probably don't have a future. Mind's in the present, right? That means you're moving towards the future, right? Because you ain't in the past anymore. Presence presence always there. Future doesn't exist until you make it. But if your mind's in the past, you probably don't have a future. Eric, Farrakhan, Silas. If your mind in the past, you probably don't have a future. Because you haven't covered the present yet. Think about that one. You haven't caught up to the present yet. And the present is fast turning the future. So you have to catch up to the present before you get to the future. So you probably have a future if your mind's still in the past. Think about that one. Okay, let's move on, brothers. Brothers, because you know when your mind's returned to you, you're gonna be a different creature. When your mind's returned, you're gonna be a different creature. It says you can't twinkle an eye. Because you're gonna see those of you who've been studying this, you already know the difference between how you were now and how you was. And you see how dramatic that is. And then you look back at the other people and you say, well, damn, how blind they are. And you were the same way a little while ago. And so now you got to understand what they're in, because you were the same way a little while ago. Now you know the difference between day and night, between where you are right now and what you think going to be when your mind gets to the future. Because I brought some of you up to date, to the present. And you see, look around, see everybody's still in the past. And you see the difference. So now you can see. See, if your mind's the past, it means you're blind. That's what scripturally, if your mind's the past, it means you're blind. See? But once you get to the present, I mean, now you can see. See? And then, if you can see ahead in the future, then you're a prophet. Or better. But if your mind's still, that means the people that mind's in the past, that means they cannot see. Spiritually, they cannot see. They're blind spiritually. And that's what it says. Suleiman will open your eyes so those you can see in the present. He opened your eyes to the present because your eyes was not in the present before you heard from me. So now you can see. And now you can see them. And they can't see you, but you can see them. He's lying. What you talking about? They walk around in the past. I got Mexican black man. I got this. I got the crowd. They walk around round circles. You see it bumping all kinds of shit, just like they bumping the COVID and everything. But they think they can see. Think about that, brothers and sisters. Okay, let's move on. Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to talk as long as I did about that, but I think my sister's working now, so we'll see. Okay. We're going to talk about ODYSSEY of Suleiman. All the things Suleiman has accomplished, right? These are all the goals he has accomplished. He's only accomplished a couple of them so far. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening here. First one he had is to find Elijah. In 1969, just based on what it says in the Bible, he would look for Elijah. Didn't know anything about Elijah, didn't know anything about the Nation of Islam, didn't know about Muslim or anything. But he, based on, because he was studying the scripture, based on that, he was in Vietnam, right, locked down over there. And he ran across that. And he gave up everything he gave up. He had put 4 years in the military. I already told this story. Put whole his life and everything, liberty, what he thought was liberty, at risk. Beginning of his odyssey, went looking for Elijah, to find Elijah. And he found him a year later. See? ODYSSEY of Son of Man. Then, next, he has to break the unbreakable seals. Two daunting tasks. First, you're going into darkness. You're in darkness, and you're going into deeper darkness, looking for something. This works in a needle in a haystack. I'm looking for something that I don't even know exists, just because it says in the scripture that you don't know, that you know very little about. You're just reading it, right? But you go looking for something that you don't have no idea exists. And you put your whole life on the line, your future and everything on the line, that you work for and everything else to do this. Who would do that? I look back at my sister. What was I, nuts? People say, are you crazy? But that's what I did. And I found them. I don't know how I look back as about 50 years ago. I guess I was somewhat surprised because it was like intermediate thing, right? I'm not going to the whole story, but I found the Nation of Islam before I found Elijah. And that crap, that got me. Because now when they started talking, I knew I was in the right place. And I started processing immediately. It took me 1 month to get, I came in August 1970. I had my X by August 21st, 1970. They told me that no one's ever got X fast. I did in Newark, New Jersey, Temple 25. In the process, I was so excited. I forgot about Elijah. I was wow. I said, man, this place, they were saying, because I mean, that stuff hit me like a bomb. And then in the process, I realized Elijah was running this thing. I didn't realize, I thought it was like a church. They told me, no, this whole thing's all over the country. That's the way it went down, brothers. So I was, wow. I told Mr. James Shabbat, I'm going to Chicago, where he is. He didn't want me to go. He tried to talk me out of it. I said, I'm going. So in September, I was there. Then, 1970, 1975, departed. 1990, break the seals. Odyssey, this is my Odyssey, right? My journey. These are mission I had before I knew I had a mission. I was on a mission before I knew I had a mission. See? What was guiding me? Wasn't no mystery God guiding me. My nature was guiding me. No mystery God was involved. Nobody made me in the womb and none of that stuff. Nobody was sitting to help me break the 7 seals. I didn't even know there was a 7 seals. I was just curious about figuring it out. I'm not going to go to the whole story, right? And when I got into it, I realized, what the hell is this? I mean, I had no idea where I was going. I was just curious, trying to figure out breaking a riddle. Because I like figuring out riddles, puzzles. That's all it was to me. And here I am. Then once that, now remember, once you break that, so you get membership. Get no money to get membership. Now you got to do something. So now wage atomic warfare. Start breaking those. Used to call it splitting atoms when Elijah Muhammad was around, right? Atomic warfare. I'm going to start going atomic. Atomic warfare. Because if you say atomic, didn't sound like the same as atomic. Atomic, right? Atomic, start waging war. 1990. Start changing the world. Breaking those verses down. Angel Key, right? 1990. Odyssey. That's the time, now I realize I got a mission. I didn't know I had a mission before that. Because this mission here, I mean, I'm putting me against everybody. I ain't know anybody no demons and all that stuff before that. I knew message about the devils. I ain't know about the jinn, none of that stuff. I ain't about enemies, all that stuff that, at this point I had the history. That's what I find Elijah was all about. I had to find him, measure of the covenant. Said, suddenly come to his temple. And what he provided me, the history, our history. You're not gonna get that in the angel, our past history, which that rounded me out. That's what I got from Elijah Muhammad, our past history. Master Muhammad taught us about, the moon and how we came to being, and 50,000 years of history and all that stuff, right? That's not the angel. Okay. Still part of my Odyssey. Now I've accomplished the first part. Now I'm in the process of taking down Legion, the chief demon. That's what's going on right now. I've accomplished all 3 parts already. Elijah, right? Breaking the seals. Dropping atomic bombs, exploding them. I've accomplished that much. And those have been impossible things to accomplish by themselves. Accomplished that so much. So now I'm in the battle right now to take down Legion. That's going to happen in a few more days. This is the journey of Suleiman, the things he has accomplished. The responsibilities that he has. So I'm just letting you understand what's going on here, brothers and sisters. This is not a joke. I don't take it as a joke. So that's where we are right now. once you take him down, then clean up and clean out the NOI. That's the future task I got. That's one I ain't all excited about. I already tell you how I feel about the Levites over there. How they treat Elijah Muhammad. Clean up and clean out the NOI. That's the message of the covenants. They will come and clean it up, full of soap. That's in the future. Oops. Then raise a nation, raise Lazarus. Needs to be raised in a day. That's another part of my mission. So when you see this, you understand I don't have time to be playing around, mess with people and stuff. I got this responsibility because no one else has responsibility but me. Show me in the scripture anyone else has responsibility. These are things Suleiman would have to accomplish. And no one in history has to accomplish so much. Alone. There's no help in here. You don't see an angel anywhere where I got any help doing any of this. That's why I said I'd rather go alone, because anybody else around inside, they like extra weight carrying. They slow me down and, holding on. I don't need that. Look in there. Does anyone else have responsibility? Did you have any help breaking the seals? Does anybody help me look for Elijah? Spin those atoms. Does anybody show them how to explode those verses? The angel key? It's going all alone. He's got to raise the Lazarus all alone. Remember in the Bible, Jesus raised Lazarus by himself. No doctor came and helped him. He did all by himself. The responsibility you have. And Farrakhan trying to style himself with that. He can't even walk. How the hell he can't? He haven't accomplished any of this so far. He hasn't accomplished anything, not even close. But he's all of this. That's part of the reason why I got disemboweled, why I pissing and shit in the bag. Because you assumed it. The title and the title and the accomplishments are something that you're not. You pay for that. Everything costs. Everything costs. So you got to raise that, right? See? Then you got to take down Babylon, the seventh place. He got to do that by himself. He does it by himself. Remember the Ancient of Days? He does it by himself. He calls down the four winds, right? The four winds rains about. Now, the angel says he does get help on this. He might get help. So there will be two helpers. And in Daniel, right? Well, he got some help. He's supposed to get some help from Elijah. It was 3 Levites. He's supposed to get help from Elijah. He didn't get it because he didn't pass the baton. So he didn't get that help. So it worked for him, because now he got to fight against all those Levites where they should have been helping him. He got to fight with them because they still hung in the past. Elijah Muhammad had passed the baton, then they would have been supporting them rather than resisting them. So it actually made it worse. So it made his job harder, right? So I don't know. They got 2 Levites here, right? They said they would help in this process, right? So are they going to be the same as Elijah? Are they going to actually make matters worse? Yeah, I'd rather they don't do anything. I don't need to make my mission harder. So at this point, right, they said 2 helpers be provided. 2 Levite prophets be helping. In Daniel, they don't do anything. So like I said, remember that I told you, go this way or that way. So from Daniel's point of view, they don't do anything. So that's the way they're going. In Angel, they does something. So which one is it going to be? Like Elijah, right? It's 2 things about Elijah. Elijah either goes and becomes a king of what you call Africa, right? In the Angel, right? But in the sealed Bible, Exodus, right? He's not allowed to go. So one path, another path. And that depends on Joshua, really, because that was a thing, because he didn't pass the baton. So that was held against him. So he was not permitted to go into the hereafter. He could look into it, but he couldn't go. But on the other hand, right, he goes, so that's a decision that apparently Joshua has to make. How he feels about it. But it's got two paths there. It's clear two paths. Same thing with these two angels, right? Two angel prophets. They've been taught and everything else. Are they going to make it worse or better? See? Like I said, I had no problem going alone. I mean, went this far. This is not a lot more to go. I don't need anybody in my way. Then we returns home. My responsibility again. Joshua's responsibility leads to the promised land. No one else. You don't see anyone else's responsibility. Just his. It was Master Muhammad's responsibility to actually provide transportation, but it was Master Muhammad, was Suleiman, right, to decide who goes, Lamb's Book of Life, and it gets you there. I'll see the Son of Man. This, for those who think it's a joke, it's a plaything, this is all serious. And only one person. Then you got to take down the beast. It's that final war. It says, these 10 kings make war with the Lamb. The Lamb overcome them. It didn't say they make war. It didn't say both. It didn't say the God and the Lamb. It said the Lamb. So he's the God on the ground. He's got to take down the beast, the last one. That last war. These are all the things. The mission, all the weight is on Suleiman's back. So you think he got time for his bullshit? 73 years old. Farrakhan, he hadn't accomplished any of these. He couldn't accomplish any of them. He's anointed and everything else. He don't even know the hell I'm talking about because he's a demon. And we don't care about him because, like I said, only we don't talk about it right now because that's where we are right now. I said, we are right now because I got to get rid of him to get Lazarus because I don't want Lazarus to wake up with tumor, with cancer. I want Lazarus to wake up with tumor and cancer, these demons. You got to take down that beast. You ain't know who this beast is. You ain't know about him, so I told you. And then what's the last thing? And then he turns all over to Master Muhammad, the Ancient of Days. All that responsibility on him alone. So he accomplished three, the first three already. He's in the process of accomplishing the fourth one. The ODYSSEY of Suleiman. This would put on no other problem message. Yeah, all that kind of response. Look at all this war, mental war, physical war. Look at all this responsibility. And you don't see in scripture, right? He hands off to Master Muhammad. Only time you see any help is supposed to be two prophets, and their help is minimal. But the point is, they was provided, so we'll see if they're added value or not. So I'm just trying to get you to understand about this, what's going on here. That's why he gave it to 25th scientists. They said they wouldn't trust any scientists less. 25th and 24th scientists. And Master Muhammad is not on the ground. Suleiman is on the ground. He's right in the thick of it. We're going to understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, so we're going to go into this and then I'm going to let close out. I want to talk about the timeline. Because I've talked about it again, so I've talked about it several times. I'm going to talk about it a little bit today because I gave this particular presentation before. Because you've seen about us talk about it. Farrakhan gets a little stupid to display 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, who we appreciate. And Farrakhan's the one y'all hate. You know what? Bullshit. It was just stupid. I make fun of them because they stupid. You're supposed to make fun of clowns. See, that's why a lot of people don't like me, because I'm telling you straight. They don't want to hear it straight. See? Don't hear it straight. They want to put some salt and pepper on it, seasoning. No, you get it straight from me. Because I'm trying to get your ass out of here. Straight. You don't get that soft talk and music. Don't play the violin like Farrakhan playing the violin while he's screwing you, while he's raping you. Well, man robbed God while he's playing the violin. Well, like Nero was, while Rome was burning. Mathematics is straight, brothers and sisters. And when they playing the music, like I said, they get ready to stick it to you. So you see what you get. What you see is what you get with me. So when we get in paradise, I will talk paradise. See? Gotta be talking. Because when we talk about shit and manure and piss and when we talk about that kind of stuff, because we're in paradise then. That's where you're supposed to talk, in paradise. But when you're in hell, you talk the language of hell. Otherwise, you're confused, ain't you? Let's move on to this, brothers and sisters. So, let's see if I can get this right again. It's an old presentation, so let's see. So this is talking about Obama. He's the one that set the JCPOA. Now I've been talking about this JCPOA for years. See, you got to talk about the witness. I've been saying for 30-some years, they'll be under the foot of the nations. I ain't know what to call it, JCPOA. I know they'd be under control of the nations, UN. That's what JCPOA put them under control of the UN for 3.5 years, 42 months. I got the books to prove it. But I know it's called JCPOA. I knew it was going to be a black president that's from Africa, but I know what his name would be. I didn't know it would be Obama. I didn't know anything about Obama. I know it would be a president, right? Because it tells you the one, that white horse would be the one, right, that would cause that to happen. And that's be an African, that'd be a president of the United States. I know what his name would be to tell you the intro. Maybe this is not. I never saw it. See, so I've been talking this for years. So anyway, that's what it is. He's white. That's Obama. If you read like the fourth seal, it says these would have authority over the famine or whatever, over the fourth of the earth. For the earth is America. Remember, and let me say that again. See, I heard people talk about the earth. No, the earth is 4 parts. The Shia are not part of the earth. The earth is the 4 parts. America, Britain has the top part of it. Russia and EU is the bottom part, and Satan is one that controls it. Shia are the mid-heaven. They're between heaven and earth. That's why I say the earth, 1/4 of the earth. How can it be, if it's 6 parts, how can it be 1/4 of it? So get things right. So it says he has authority that because it starts off. So when you read it, if you read it as it goes, the one on top, he got authority. That means this African king, this African person riding a white horse, he would have authority over America. It means he has authority over that 4th earth, where the 4th earth is. And one way, because what other European country has been under prime minister or president, whatever, of an African person? Only America. Okay, let's move on, bro. Since I'm going to move a little quicker on this. And then he's the one who said JCPOA during his term, 2015. Came in 2008. I think he went to 2016, but 2015, JCPOA was set up. That's the part when they're going to. That's the part where they're going to for the nations now under control of the UN, because JCPOA get them power to inspect and everything else. But if you read Daniel, they said they've been in that situation for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. But if Daniel says a different way. It says it'd be seven weeks, right? Or that means was 7 years in Daniel. And in the middle of the week, the treaty would be broken, which would be 3.5 years. That's what they're talking about in Daniel. I'm not good at here, but they're talking about the same thing in Daniel. That's how important it is. Both of these things are talked about in both places. Okay? So this is where, right? uh, this is where they go. Also, they attacked Syria in 2011. I'm not sure if I'm going to elaborate on that one here, right? But anyway, 2000. Because I want to focus on JCPOA. But actually, the Syria thing factors into this, right? Anyway, it starts 2015. So that means 3.5 years later will be 2018 and 6 months. That's when Trump broke the deal. Broke it. 3.5, just like I said, 42 months, right? 36 months is 3 years. 3.5 years, 42 months. That's long they've been the foot of the nations. See? See, this thing about Syria comes into the silence part. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna deal with that here. Okay, Trump's in the JCPOA, and they still attack Syria. Because see, they'll be attacking Syria during this period of time. That's what the fifth seal is all about. See, because they already attacked Iran, and now they said their fellow brothers will be attacked, and they will, and that's when, because they kept praying to their God, Master Muhammad, or their 12th Imam, right? How long is you going to take before you do something? He said, no, wait, your fellow Syria, your fellow servant, witness, right? They have to go through what you went through. Then once it happens, then I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna attack these people that's been doing this to y'all. Anyway, so there it is. That puts you at 2018. He does it, and it said for 3.5 years, right? They'll be putting, after that 3.5 years, they'll be putting pressure on America by enriching uranium. Pressure on you, because that's the whole thing. That's the whole agreement to stop them doing that. But now they're doing it. So they're putting pressure on European countries, specifically America, because they're enriching them. Because that's what they're trying to stop from happening. That's the whole JCPOA was, stop them doing that, because they didn't want to have nuclear weapons. But Trump ended it. So it said for 3.5 years, right? They'll be rising. They're putting pressure. That's what's happening because they're enriching uranium. That would take you what, to 2018 and a half, right? 3.5 years from that, right? Because at 3.5 years from that, right? Would put you what? Half a year will put you at 2019, right? 3 years after 2022, this year. Now we gotta understand the year starts in March. It's not this European bullshit. It starts in March. The first day of spring, March 21st. Keep that in mind. Right? See? So I actually say March here, right? That's talking about something else though. So I showed 2018-6 that put Iran passed war because they're enriching uranium. That's what it says in chapter 11. The witnesses that Farrakhan trying to tell the witnesses of Elijah and Farrakhan, man. The witness to what? Yeah, Elijah's a witness against Farrakhan. They're so stupid over there. They're two witnesses. He's going to give a special presentation, but then he backed off. Said, well, yeah. That's what you get from the people over there. I guess he couldn't, because he said, the witnesses never get killed. Remember, they never die in there. It's all over there. They got killed. So I guess he read a little further and said, well, I bet these alone. Because said they would be both killed. See? But they've been saying Farrakhan would be crucified for longest. He's already crucified. He got worse coming. He got much worse coming. Okay, that's put you at 2022. That's where we are right this year. But then you got the 6 month thing. Signed for 6 months. So 6 months would put you, add it up, brothers and sisters. 6 months, see, it says, silence him for 6 months. That means silence him for half an hour, which is 6 months. So he had 6 months to March 21st, what you get. You see why I'm saying this? What's today? Down September 20th? That puts you in September 21, 2022. Silence. That's where it puts you at. That's where it puts you at. Again, nobody knows what Master Muhammad, but that's where it puts you at this calculation. See? Now the calculation could be totally accurate. But see, I don't know because Master Muhammad got to pull the trigger, so it's still that statement still holds. It said no one knows the day and hour but Master Muhammad. So I'm saying what the angel says, but he has to pull a trigger. So I can still be right, but I don't know I'm right until he pulls the trigger. So he might pull it tomorrow, right? That's what this says, angel says. But not tomorrow, because that's part of the silence. So that means it'd be September 22 then, wouldn't it? Okay. Let's move on. There's that silence, because silence was told, but that one, remember chapter, the fifth seal, when it was told, rest up. And there's no silence in the fifth. See, every seal, they hear something. But in the fifth seal, hear nothing. That's the silence in that period of time. At the same time, they're still attacking Syria. They're still attacking Syria. And they really boosting up right now. It says after that happens, that's when the war takes place. So these things happen, come together at the same time. So here you go right here. See? There's something else I've been talking about. I'm not really staying here, but it's talking about, I bring sword. I'm not bringing peace, I'm bringing the sword. Someone says he's not bringing peace, he's bringing the sword. It says mother against father, mother against daughter, father against son, and mother against daughter. That's what's talking about right there. So that means when he's bringing this with him. I've been talking about this. Everybody's been familiar with this. I've been talking for years, more than 2 years. I know I've been talking about at least 2 years, but more than 2 years. I said, who's the daughter? Daughter's Russia. Who's the mother? America. Now, that means America and Russia against each other. That'd be a time of Suleiman showing up. Be manifest. Manifest, not showing because he's here. Just when he manifests himself, he's doing stuff in the background. But now he's coming to the foreground. It said, mother be against daughter. Ain't that what's happening? Father against son. In 2020, didn't Britain break away from the EU? Did they break up the so-called Brexit? And mother against daughter-in-law. Mother-in-law against daughter-in-law. America against these Christian blacks. They got all this confusion going on now. Black Lives Matter and everything else. All this happening. And it's getting worse every day. That says when he's coming with that. That's what the environment should look like. At the time the war's about to start, when he's come manifest, all these things coming together. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's move on. Boy, you got some heavy, I'm just telling you. I may not be exact it may not be exactly the 22nd, but I can tell you for sure it's going to be very close. Very close. See, pray that your flight will not be in the Sabbath or winter. That's tell you something right there. JCPOA talk started. I gave this presentation about a year ago, I think. I told you I didn't. It wasn't going to go back to JCPOA. Now they said it's pretty scrapped. JCPOA talk stalled. Force Israel prepares to attack Iran. Then they openly said they're going to attack Iran. They're openly saying it. See? All year. So 2026 is 6 months starting from March, beginning of spring, which puts you right here. Tomorrow is actually 6 months. That's the silence. But it does say about 6 months, about half an hour. So it says about, that means approximate. It's close. Then say silence will be half an hour. It says about half an hour. So that means it's close. Close. And we talk about this fleeing. Understand fleeing. That's not talking, you brothers just waking up. That's woke up. They can see the present. There's some of those fools that's waiting to see what happens. Then the ones got to flee. The ones going to be lost for lack of knowledge. They won't have to flee because they wait the last minute. That's why I got to say. That's why they ain't got no time to think. But those already know what's going on. They're going to already be gone. It's those, oh man, wait and see what happens. Then the ones have to flee for their lives. You see a hurricane coming, right? And you get your hell out the way, then you ain't got to worry about it. You sit there and wait. I'm going to see if it's really going to happen, right? And now your ass is up on the roof or in the basement, freezing or flood or whatever. See, 'cause now you in trouble because you waited till the last minute. Other people got the hell out of there. Silence. We talk about the silence. 6 months, it brings you up to where we are right now. A day away. This is why I was talking about the fifth seal. So you can look at it on Legion, brothers and sisters. The fifth seal where it says, right, how long you could, he's telling that 20, the 12th imam, how long, right, before you avenge us, he told them to rest up. Now that's Syria talking about. They already attacked Iran for about 8 years, now attacking Syria. They're two witnesses. So if you read there, you see it's silence. And the fifth seal is silence. All the other seals have something to say. They hear something. They don't hear anything in the fifth seal. They're silent this period of time, during the period of time they attacked on Syria. And for 6 months, last 6 months, right, after 3.5 years, which put you to September 21st, 2022. That's why I'm bringing this back up again, brothers and sisters. End of the silence. So you read at your own leisure, right? This is, I believe, chapter 8 in the Injil. The 7 trumpets. No, it's 6 seal. No, I was saying the 6 seal. So that's the 6th chapter. So in the JCPOA, at 2018, halfway through, end of it, America and Britain, as far as Israel, they in charge of the Middle East. Right? The end. Right? Actually, right, in Iran, Syria, that's where they are, NJC, at the foot of the nations. When Trump terminates it. And then this is the 3.5 years they put pressure, Iranian put pressure on America and Britain. They was giving white robes. That's what it means. Rich and uranium, that's 3.5 years. The Spirit of God came to him, giving white robes, so to rest up. We talk about the silence, then the war. The war. I said somewhere between, because they said approximately, they said about silence for 6 months, about. So that means approximately, it could be a month before, a month after. That's why I say between 5 and 7, between July and October. Remember, we talking about the first of the month starting in March. So because they say about 6 months, about half an hour, I make an approximation. So I'm covering my butt there, right? CYA, say, well, somewhere between the 5th and 7th month, between July and October. I was looking for July. I wanted the quickest possible. I want the quickest possible. But, you know, we got, all this depends on Lazarus waking up. We got a lot of things to consider there. So I know Master Father, he got a lot of responsibilities. He's protecting us from there. He needs to sleep or slumber. I ain't say Suleiman had all responsibility. He got a ton of responsibility too. So the war, they're defeated. That's where Michael and his angels, that's his angels, Syria and Iran, the Shia, against dragons and angels, which house of Saud. Remember, now they align with Israel, false Israel. And his angels was America, Britain, and false Israel. They get defeated. That's about to happen. That's where Babylon falls, like it says in chapter 18. That's Armageddon, the 9 plagues. Armageddon's European war. America's at war with Russia, and they're going to be at war with Europe too. I've been telling you that, because now you're hearing people saying they're getting satisfied in Europe. I've been saying for years, now they say they're getting satisfied in Europe, they're getting satisfied with America and their politicians, because America's putting pressure on them to freeze during the winter, go hungry and everything else, because America's policy with Ukraine. And So the oil is cut off from Russia. And that's why it's suffering. And so it says, when this happens, it says it happens in wintertime. It's getting cold over there. They can say, hell with America. Russia turn that, tell them you can't take cold showers and all that kind of stuff. Russia turn that oil back on. We're going to be on your side and go against America. So America is going to be caught in the vice. Their NATO allies are going to turn against them. And Russia, they're going to go on Russia's side. Right now they're using against Russia. Russia's going to prevail. They're going to turn that speaker on, take back oil, and they're going to turn against America. America been in the vice and falls Israel. They're surrounded by armies. And UK is going to be taken out first. China and North Korea is going to take them out. They're going to be taken out first. That's the unsealed Bible. About the firstborn, sealed Bible, the firstborn is the elderly, right? That has COVID. But the sealed and the unsealed Bible, right? They're the firstborn because that's no situation. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to start another story here altogether. Okay. World War III, Armageddon. Now, the seven trumpets is the first four that fall. It's the fifth one that goes first. So you think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. No. The fifth one goes first. You read it carefully and watch it thing. The sixth one released the first four. It said angel, released the four angels bound by the river Euphrates. So fifth and sixth, right? So fifth and sixth. The fifth is already gone. Sixth going to release the first four. Armageddon. That's the plagues. And then that's the four winds. They released the four winds, first four trumpets. You read it at your leisure. See, first trumpet, this is chapter 8, I believe. First trumpet, occurred hail. So it tells you what they do. And the first one takes hitting America. First trumpet, and occurred hail and fire having mingled in blood, thrown into the earth. And third, earth was burned down, and third, the trees was burned down. All vegetation, yellow, was burned down. Right? So that first is America. So America is the main target. So almost there, brothers and sisters. Here's the last one here. And then that fire red horse. So you don't understand, most of you understand angels, so I'm not going to try to explain how this fits in, right? But it says this one would take. Okay, this is gets into another part of scripture, but the bottom line is that this one, he's one takes peace from the earth, where they start slaughtering one another. Earth, remember, said represents European countries, right? So it takes peace. So now they're fighting with each other now. They've been at peace with each other since World War II, but now it says take peace from the earth. And they start fast. That's one of the winds, and they start fighting each other, slaughtering each other. See, so in other words, Europe is going to turn against America. So that's Armageddon. There's going to be total destruction over there. And in the process of destroying themselves, bringing themselves apart and everything else, that makes China and India rise up. Because now they become superpowers. That's why it says, and I'm going to say this and leave it, in chapter 13, it said the dragon, remember the dragon represents House of Sod, and his angels are America, Britain, and false Israel, right? The dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns, and his crowns were upon his head, 7 heads. But it says in chapter 13, it gave his authority and power to the beast, who also has 7 heads and 10 horns, and his crowns upon his horns. In other words, the crowns is authority. So authority passes from Europeans to China and India, because that's the 10 horns. So now they're superpowers, because Europe is tearing itself apart. Hope you can understand, brothers and sisters. So we'll see if Suleiman's and if Matthew Muhammad's in sync with Angel of his, then we can expect, right, in 2 days, that war break out. Because the end of silence would be if it's exact. But it says about. So I was hoping on the best side that it'd be shorter. Right? But if it's exact, that would be 21st September, which is tomorrow. That means silence will be over. That means war will start 22nd. So that's the problem. That's why it says no one knows. Match by Muhammad, because it says about. But if you're gonna hold it to that, and that's the only reason why only one knows with him, then we know this thing's gonna definitely has to happen before November. But I said between 5 and 7 months, which between July and October. That means it has to start in October. Can't get no later than October. No later than October 31st. So we there anyway, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. I'm gonna leave it there. I think that's it. Brothers and sisters. Yep, that's it. That's it, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. I'm gonna leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.